Hey everyone, new year, new resolutions. In 2026, my goal is to actually start making these videos and continue doing so and not fall off the wagon. To help me, I've gotten a new dog in 2025 named Fluffy. I have 3 daughters, and she makes me take her for a walk at least once a day, often twice. I figure I can use this time to answer some key kind of common questions we get in the recovery audit space real quickly. So I want to start high level. One of the first questions that we get, very common, what's a recovery audit and why do finance leaders do it every single year? What is a recovery audit? Well, if you do a lot of transactions with a significant number of vendors and suppliers, there's going to be errors that take place. Errors can take place on the payment side, where something like a duplicate payment occurs, or it can take place on really the negotiation and procurement side, where specific terms, allowances, promotions aren't followed accurately. There's really about as many things as you can imagine could go wrong when you're dealing with these large amounts of transactions. Put simply, recovery audit is to bring in a group of auditors, whether internal or external, using software, identify potential discrepancies, errors, and then to work with suppliers and vendors to determine if those errors should result in repayments occurring. So generally recovery audits are contingent, where a percentage of the dollars that are recovered goes to the external recovery audit firm. Obviously, if it's an internal team, you know, a percentage of the dollars recovered can go to the allocation to staff that internal team. So I think the question that naturally comes out of this is, all right, so if we're identifying errors and we see the root cause, why do we do it year in and year out? Like, why is there a situation where it doesn't just get fixed? You identify a bunch of duplicate payments, you identify a bunch of allowances that are missed, and you fix it so it doesn't happen anymore. That's great in principle, and it's probably the first thing I thought when I heard about this industry coming out of graduate school, but it doesn't really fit the environment that large organizations operate in. Large organizations are constantly changing. They're changing systems, they're changing suppliers, they're changing contract language, they're having resources internally shift roles. And so, you know, while a recovery audit does a good job of identifying where errors are and reducing future leakage through financial errors, it doesn't keep new issues from cropping up. So companies perform recovery audits year in and year out because while they're improving and trying to approach zero errors, new issues are generated. And so it's a best practice, I'd say, similar to like a, if you think of like in an IT security sense, if you want to make sure you have good data security in your environment, one of the things that you'll be required to do is to hire pen testers. Pen testers are basically professional hackers that come in and try to penetrate your environment and break in to show where the vulnerabilities are. I view recovery auditors as kind of the pen testers of financial relationships between vendors and suppliers. You bring recovery auditors in who have a strong incentive to find dollars, to find out where the gaps are. They help you to close the gaps, but in general, large organizations, new gaps will open up. And so that's why you see finance leaders wanting to every year perform a recovery audit, even though they're trying to close gaps, for the same reason you'd see an IT department every year bring in pen testers, because the environment's changing enough where new vulnerabilities and holes are open up. So hopefully that's helpful. If you have any specific questions you want me to address in these videos, let me know. Again, the goal here would just be to help educate those who are in the market for recovery audit, want to learn more about it, about the services we provide, and answer some of those questions without having to get on the phone with the sales guy. So hope you're having a great 2026 and appreciate you watching this video if you got this far. Thanks, bye.